Mic check, 1, 2. Yep, I got audio right there. And nice to see you guys today. This is a unplanned stream, unplanned video. I got this nondescript, semi-descript package in the mail today from OLLO Audio. I think you say it OLLO Audio. I kind of want to say Audio, but yeah, I grew up in the Southwest, so I'm gonna say OLLO. They're from. Looks like this came from Slovenia. Very cool. And you can see here, this is their website. So they have a deal where if you have like, YouTube channel, or you're a social media person, which I don't consider myself to be anything like that, they give you like a pretty good deal. And so yeah, I picked these up because, who was it? I think Dell. I saw Dell saying that these sounded pretty good, and I've been looking for, I'll show you what I've got. I should have cleaned my desk off. So usually I am using these Beyerdynamic DT880 Pros, and then I also really like the Sennheiser HD280, I think HD280 Pros or whatever they are. Yeah, 64 ohm. So these are my normal cans that I use for dialogue editing and working on headphones. And really, before I built this studio, I had to do a lot of work on headphones because, the room was basically a bedroom, and I treated it as much as I could. But yeah, a bedroom in a house, there's only so much you can do to make it sound right. Luckily, with the studio I'm in now, I was able to design it and build it so that it sounds good and it's nice and flat and it's not too dead. But these were my crutch for dialogue editing, or if I took my laptop somewhere, I'd be working on headphones. And I just got to where I could really trust these, especially when dialogue editing for things like clicks and pops and high frequency issues with the production sound. It's really great to have headphones and just put the speakers right on your ear, and you get to catch all the nasties that just get sucked up into a room, even with good monitors. So headphones are great. I always tell people don't mix on headphones, but these that I'm about to open, supposedly you can mix on these. And I want to see if they can make me a believer. I need headphones anyways, so it's kind of a no-brainer. These normally sell for, well, 539 funny monies, probably euros. We use dollarinos here in America, but I'm gonna crack this open and give them a listen, see what they sound like. Cool. It's a little sleeve for the box, and then that keeps everything nice and contained in there. I'm always excited to open gear. It's just nice to get something new. I'm probably going to be getting more stuff as the year goes on. So tomorrow we're going to do a stream about loudness. And I didn't want to muddy the waters with that, so I figured I'd do this. Here's the inside of the box. Neuromoto asks, how did you find out about them? A buddy of mine, Dell, his handle's like Dell Mixed It. He's everywhere, man. Really good post audio guy, good family man. He has been using these, and I value his opinion, so I thought I would pick them up. I like to stick with the stuff I know, meaning the Bear Dynamics and Sony's and Sennheiser's and like kind of the legacy headphones. But I also have found that with smaller companies, if the people who run them are really passionate about things, they can actually do kind of a better job than the bigger companies. But you pay a premium for it. So there's these little cardboard guys. I mean, these traveled across the pond, so it's good to have them be well protected. I mean, I guess, let's see. Does this show much? It's a better camera, at least. And then, oh, cool. So this is something I really like. Neuromoto, thanks for the super chat. Really appreciate it. So, right off the bat, I like the fact that the cord goes, it looks like there's one for each ear cup, and it's not connected to the headphones. So you get full rotation out of these. I wonder how they did that with the cabling inside. There's got to be some kind of swivel inside. I did take a break from doing audio, and I was like a product manager, I manage product development for a small electronics company. So design stuff is kind of interesting to me. So here's another cool thing: the adjustment for the sizing of the ear cups. You just pull it out like that. So I've done very little. I've done very little research on these besides, seeing them recommended by Dell and a couple other people online, and then like reading the specs on them. So this is all like, if I misspeak on details or something, I'm sure they'll correct me. But I didn't like really go too far into like technical specs or anything other than just the fact that they're supposed to be really flat. So, okay. So there's that. And then the other thing you should know about me is I am not careful with my gear. I am a tornado or a bull in a china shop. So there's some more packaging stuff that's gonna get chucked over the shoulder, and the box is now empty, so chucked over the shoulder. It does come with a bag, which is cool. I assume the cables are in here. And let's see what we got. This says, thank you for your support. Little envelope, really cool. It's not sealed. What do we got? Safety information. Don't press down on the headphones. Be careful when you plug in the headphones that the headphones aren't put down flat on the table while you do that. Same for unplugging. Do not try not to press them to your ears heavily. Bad for your ears and for the speaker inside. When carrying in a backpack, make sure the ear pads aren't pressed flat to a surface. Okay, so they don't want you to compress the ear pads. What's interesting is hopefully let me do this camera for this, because this one has a little better. Okay, so you see this picture right here. There we go. What's really interesting is, so the pads that go over your ear have a huge impact on the sound, and I found this out because I needed new pads for my Bear Dynamics. You can see these used to be gray. It's kind of nasty. Like, these are greasier than a chicken wing. They got little brown staining to them from some good old Boykin ear grease and face grease and sweat. And so I looked on Amazon or eBay or whatever for headphone replacements, the pad replacements, just the pads, the ear pads. And there was some that were like, this improves your bass response. And I put them on, and it was like terrible, muddy. Like, the bass was like Beats by Dre, like just jacked up. All the flatness was gone. So I ripped them off, cried, and put the old nasty ones back on. This is kind of cool. There's a calibration certificate. So they have this thing called a USC, which is something calibration. Let me see. I mean, I could look this up, but accessories, calibration upgrade. Yeah, so each of these headphones comes with a serial number that you can plug into their calibration software, and it's supposed to get the calibration to within plus or minus 1 dB of completely flat. Supposedly, without the calibration, they're plus or minus 2 dB of flat, and I'm not going to quibble over 1 dB. So I might do this at some point. It tells you the humidity and temperature it was packaged at, which is really cool. I am not too precious about my audiophile nerd stuff, so cool, I guess, but I'm really mostly interested in how do they sound. All right, what do you get in this bag? You get cables to connect the headphones. That's important. You get this looks like a lanyard. Backstage pass. That's clever. See, this is the type of stuff, like, when I was doing marketing and product dev, this was like this stuff I liked. Adding something that made people feel special. So this is very cool. And then a bag to carry them, which is fine. Like, it's a... Shoot, this is like a nylon... I forget what this material is called, but it's fine. Yeah, so that's nice extra stuff. Right now I'm just going to chuck that stuff because I don't really care. I really care about this, and I care about this. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. Detail-wise, for the cable end here, the 1/4 inch TRS, it is a screw-off, which is nice. It looks to be gold-plated. And then it looks like these tiny TRS 1/8 inch. These look like 1/8 inch or maybe a little smaller. The way they go into the headphones is pretty clever. Let me do this guy for this. So you've got a recessed cavity here for, like, you know, the right or left, and it looks like this will kind of lock in. Snap. That is a tight fit, and I'm putting about probably 5 pounds of pressure and it's not coming off. So they do come back off, but it requires quite a bit of force. And I'm like a pretty handy guy. Like, I do a lot of auto repair and home improvement stuff, so my hands are pretty strong, and I can disconnect it, but it's not going to get just yanked out of there. Like, you're going to have to want to disconnect it. So I like that. That's cool. And then the spinny ear cups, somebody asked if they're semi-open back. I'm pretty sure since these are reference ones, they are open back, but we'll be able to tell as soon as I put them on. Let me make sure I get okay, so here's something. Which is the right and which is the left ear cup? Does it even matter? I would assume it would matter because of the calibration. So let me look here. I don't see like a R and L on the cups. Oh, there we go. It's on top. Okay. So this is all like, I didn't open these at all. This is a true unboxing. Like, I didn't open these or do any research or watch any videos on them. I just saw somebody post about them on Facebook and said, I'm having that. So the left is here. It's labeled on this like rubber band guy, which I'm guessing it's just, okay, the rubber band is just on that side. That's kind of interesting. That makes sense. Then you can kind of feel. So that's cool. So right is red. I had it in the wrong one. And then I'll need to cut this. And every man should have a pocket knife. This pocket knife has stabbed me a lot. But it's got screwdriver blades on it. So, or screwdriver bits. This is super cool. Great for studio and fishing and camping and all kinds of stuff. All right, you guys are probably had enough looking at my gut there. So red side. Oh, they're both red. Okay. That's something that, you know, maybe it's fine to have both sides red. I think I'd like a red and a black if you're going for true functionality, but I know you gotta also have it look nice for the people who are gonna wear these as a fashion statement. So, all right, left. And what I'm going to do is I have normal reference material that let me plug these in. I have normal reference material that I listen to, but I can't really, I'm not going to play Steely Dan for you guys because I'd get a buku amount of copyright strikes and all that. So what I was thinking I would do is we've been working on this short for pretty much all year. I've heard it way too many times. I can share this with you guys. I can't share the stuff I'm working on now because it's, I'd never work again. And the normal reference material that I'd listen to, which I can tell you what it is, 28 Days Later, Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan. What other movie stuff? The whole film of No Country for Old Men. And then for music, probably okay, Massive Attack. Angel by Massive Attack for bass. And then Rumors, Steely Dan Rumors is a great album to check out. There's a bunch of other stuff. But we're gonna listen to this family heirloom, and I'm gonna A/B my DT 880 Pros, and I'm gonna see. So this is my first. I'm gonna put these on, and I'm gonna listen, and I know this film front to back, so I'm gonna see what it sounds like.
Hey man, you have it?
Yeah.
Look, if you don't want to sell, I get it. The boss just said you needed the money.
Okay, they sound really good. Yeah, I was like almost gonna take them off because I was like, is this my speakers?
Hey man, you have it?
Yeah.
Look, if you don't want to sell, I get it.
Okay. I am gonna turn them down a little bit and listen again, because louder is better.
Hey man, you have it?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I can tell you guys right now, these are an excellent set of headphones. The low mids on the dialogue are really warm. They're not too bright, which is something you find with a lot of stuff that's supposed to sound high end. Is they'll literally boost the high end because high frequencies equals high quality, right? These are not very bright, and they are semi-closed back. Like I can tell there's a little bit of a vacuum effect. I can still hear things around me a little bit, but they're pretty isolated. Let me actually, one test I do to see for isolation is I'll play stuff. I'll like put it on my shoulder or my thigh, and maybe I'll just do my arm. This is to check for like bleed. So you put it against your skin, and you can kind of see how much it bleeds.
Look, if you don't want to sell, I get it. The boss just said you needed the money.
Take this. Keep it.
So I can hear it, but it's not that loud. Like it's a lot quieter than the DTA 80s, which are like you're almost next to a tiny speaker. When like, if somebody's next to you and they have those headphones on, you can hear every syllable of what they're listening to. And these, I feel like you could maybe not completely squeak by on stealth mode, but it's going to be less distracting to people around you. I don't think you'd be able to record with them because the bleed would be way too bad. But you know, these are meant to be for mixing. So I'm trying to think what I should do is do like a signal generator and see like how, let me put that guy off. I should see how far down they go. So I'm going to make a new mono track. We'll just throw this out to the mix bus. I think, does that make sense? Because there's no bass management, and yeah, we'll throw it out the print master aux, and this will be our sig gen. I am going to, like, I haven't broken these in. I'm assuming, I didn't read anything in the instructions about breaking them in, so I'm assuming they're already broken in. Some of the higher end companies that, you know, send you out headphones, they've already broken them in for 24 hours. But I will listen to my my favorite music and kind of get a sense for, you know, like how they do. I'll watch some movies with them too. So, have you ever tried the Sennheiser HD650s? Yes, and those were on my list. Like, should I get those or should I take a chance on these? I didn't show you guys this, but like the finish on the ear cups is pretty nice. Like these were milled or maybe CNC'd, but it's like a nice, it looks like walnut maybe. They did a pretty good job sanding and finishing it, so that's kind of nice. That's like a little organic touch to something that would normally be just plastic. And the ear cups feel real soft. The donut sponge is very pliable. I don't think these are going to last very long because they're so soft, but I'm imagining that's how they got the good frequency response and flatness, is by using a very soft foam that didn't just turn your ears into a giant subwoofer cabinet. So, okay, let's do... I'm going to unmute this. It's going to be kind of annoying, this signal generator. I'll lower the frequency so it's not just boop. And then I'm going to go put these on and see how far down they go. That's impressive. So I'm down to 22 hertz and I can still hear. It's obviously quieter than 80 hertz, but to get 22 hertz on headphones and have them be as flat as they are, that's pretty good. Let me just check on my trusty DT880s and see what they sound like at 22 hertz. I'm not really picking it up. Okay, so 30 hertz I can tell there's something there at 25 hertz. Yeah, but you know, really I would say the DT880 Pros drop off about 30 hertz. So, you know, in a film, if you're having to work on headphones, there can be stuff down, you know, below 30 hertz. There's not going to be too much down there, but I will tell you, how do I put this? Certain actors who are famous for their voice being rich and deep and warm, they actually have fundamentals down to like 35 hertz. And when I first started out, was a big fan of high passing dialogue at like, you know, 80 hertz or 90 or 100. And the more I specialized in dialogue editing, the more I saw like how much baby I was throwing out with the bathwater by doing that. Some actors have voices that go down to 35 hertz. And you know this by looking at the waveform in Isotope. And it's not like stage rumble or Jenny noise, like it's actual, the fundamental of their voice goes that low. And it's their speaking voice. A lot of time it's like their intimate speaking voice where a person's right next to them and it's, you know, very fatherly. But yeah, so to have headphones that can go down to like 22 hertz, 23 hertz and not lose too much level is really impressive. I guess I should see. This will kind of be a test of my own hearing too, but we should see the high frequencies and just see. I'm gonna do one ear because it's gonna be. I'm gonna bring it down to. It's gonna be super hard, and this happens when you get older. You can't hear high frequencies as well. Yeah, I mean that's usually 16 is about where my ears, you know, I can't hear it anymore. And that's about all I can take of that. Like it'll give me a headache. If I play 17K, it'll give me a headache. But I won't be able to be like, yep, I can hear that. So 16 is about, that's about as high as my ears get now, unfortunately. I'm close to 40, happens to all of us. What else could I look at here in this short? There's, did I have the video? There we go. Trying to think where the super low frequencies are. It's like this VO stuff is pretty boomy.
Protect this. Keep it safe. Someday you might need it. Our family is counting on you.
Okay, I'm switching to the DTA 80s.
Protect this. Keep it safe. Someday you might need it. Our family is counting on you.
Okay, cool. So the biggest difference I'm finding between, good question, Neuromoto. He's asking the impedance. The Bayer dynamics I have are the high impedance ones. I think they're 280 ohm or something like that. I think it says somewhere on here. So yeah, you really, it's kind of an unfair comparison because you're supposed to have a dedicated hi-fi headphone amp. I've always just used, you know, the Scarlett interface I have has enough impedance to drive them. You do have to crank the gain up a little bit more. And then the MacBook can obviously drive them. But the biggest thing I'm hearing, the difference between the Bayer Dynamics and the OLLO Audios is the Bayer Dynamics have more of a mid-rangey, woody profile, like 70s-ish, like a pretty prominent 3 to 800 hertz kind of, not boost, but like emphasis maybe. And then the OLLO Audios sound a lot flatter. They don't have that. And so I feel like I could actually make some, maybe some mixed decisions on these. They're pretty boomy. They like, because of that bass response, they still sound like headphones. Like they don't sound like studio monitors, but they are, I would say, if you need to mix on headphones, you could definitely make decisions on these. I would really have to do like a full mix on them and then listen back on speakers to see like, is this going to work? And you'd also have to figure out how to deal with like sound staging if you're final format's going to be in 5.1. There's the Smith Realizer, which is like $5,000. Or you could do the Waves NX with the head tracker, which I've demoed. And that it's okay. Like, it's not the same as like a real 5.1. But for just stereo work, I would say if you need to work on headphones, these are definitely worth checking out. Build quality is pretty good. We'll see how they hold up long term. I guess what I should do is decide yes or no, does this replace my standby Bayer Dynamics? And at this point, I would say yes, definitely. And it's not just the sound quality. The biggest problem I have with the Bayer Dynamics, and I'll show you guys on this webcam here, is the cup depth. I got goofy big ears that stick out from my head, and the cup depth on the OLLO Audios is probably an inch. That's like exactly 1 inch. So there's that. Sorry, I just beat up my mic. And then and I did it again. The cup depth on these Bayer Dynamics, partially because they're so old, but they've always been like this. It's maybe 3/4 of an inch. So what happens is when I wear these for any longer time than maybe 45 minutes, this part is actually touching my ear. And with my big Spock ears, it starts to get really sore. And so I take them off in a rage and I chuck them across the room. And I go through a lot of headphones that way. So these, I feel like because the cup depth is much deeper and they ergonomically fit my head a lot better, like that just feels comfortable to put on. And the fact that they're not totally closed back, like they're semi-closed back. I can still hear myself talking. It's muffled, but it's not like an open back where the whole world is just coming through the headphones while you're listening. And therefore also the sound from the headphones is emanating out of your head. So yeah, I really like these. They're definitely, I'd say, worth the price. And what I need to do now is like spend the next, I don't know, a couple weeks listening to music and listening to my favorite movies, and maybe playing a video game or two with them with no microphone, so I can't like cuss at 10-year-old kids online, which you shouldn't do. Don't do that. And really put them through their paces, and also give them some time to break in, because headphones will sound different. If these haven't been broken in, I should go through the little paper they sent instead of just ripping into them like a 5-year-old on Christmas. But I was excited to try these out, and I'm going to keep them. They're going to replace my Bayer Dynamics. They might not go with me on trips. I'll probably still take my $99 Sennheisers that I've had since I did production sound, where like the foam is coming out of the ear cup and they're all beat up and crunchy, because these, if somebody were to take these and run on the airplane, where are they going to go? Or like bump into me and I drop them and they get blown to smithereens, or I drop them off the moped that I'm riding to the dub stage, I wouldn't care too much. It's $100. Whereas these, it took them like 10 days to get here, and they were quite a bit more than that. So these are probably going to stay in the studio. Yeah, I'd say for a general purpose, dialogue editing or mixing headphone, definitely check these out. If you have the coin to spend on them. And I'm going to put them through their paces. If you guys have any questions about them, let me know in the chat, and I can like try to answer them. I'm just kind of interested in the design of these. It's really cool. Like this is like fidget spinner level to be able to squish them up and down. That might need some grease on it eventually. Questions. I have the Sony WH-1000 XM4. They can clarify as studio, even though I think they're more for finished sound. Classify. Okay, cool. I can check that out, I guess. I don't have a ton of time to look at gear because if I'm in here, I'm normally working. But like I said, I was in the need for headphones. So, yeah, I like these. I'd give them an A plus for design. Like I've only listened to them for a few minutes. I'd say an A for sound. The one thing that maybe concerns me a little bit is the bass response. If it's too much bass, that is like the biggest hurdle with getting your mixes to translate is the bass monitoring. If you're listening on stuff that amplifies the bass frequencies, you'll have less bass, and then when you go watch it in like a theater or a calibrated studio, the director or you will be like, where's the bass? It sounds really thin and doesn't have any balls to it. So that's something that like I'll listen to my excuse me, reference tracks, especially Angel by Massive Attack. That one is like my go-to. Like get a hi-fi version of that to listen to. Not Spotify, but like a real like a Tidal version or something of it. And that is a great bass test for any, stereo or PA system. And yeah, let me see if there's any other questions. I'll be back again tomorrow. I'm doing back-to-back streams. I've got a little break in work. Although I think I'm working tomorrow. I got a text for that. Okay. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, so tomorrow I'll do a short stream on loudness, but I figured I just got these. I wanted to open them, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So, yeah. Let me just go through questions real quick. It's 4 o'clock here, which means it's kid and family time for me. At least on days where I don't have to work. Sorry, I just joined. How much are these headphones? Well, let's check it out. They gave me a sweetheart deal on these because if you have a YouTube or you're a social media person, which is not me, then they'll give you a discount as long as you're, do like some kind of video about this. And I don't normally do this stuff, but since these were so highly recommended, I really wanted to check them out because I like supporting independent companies. So this is the S5X Reference. They are $539. This Monopoly money sign, I think that's euros. In dollars, I don't know what this would be. Probably around $500, depending on exchange rates. But yeah, that's how much they are. It said, oh, they support students and teachers at 25% off. That's pretty cool. They also come with a calibration. You have to, I think, pay for the calibration software. It's not much. It's like $40 or something like that. And they say that the calibration file, which is tied to each individual pair, hopefully tied to each individual driver, that will get you within plus or minus 1 dB of completely flat. But it says they ship without the calibration plus or minus 2 dB of flat, which is really good. Yeah, so other questions. I know you mix 82 dB mostly on speakers, and I'm wondering how does that translate to headphones? That's the big problem with doing any mixing on headphones is they're so close to your ears you can't really calibrate them that way. So the best thing, and we'll probably go over this a little bit tomorrow, the best thing you can do is to use a meter and get the dialogue like close to spec and then switch to headphones, or if you're working on headphones from the start, just you kind of have to use the meters, and it really sucks. Like you can't make the subjective volume decisions that you can on speakers because there's not enough air between you and the drivers. And I don't think that's going to change with these. I'll give them a shot and see if I can do a mix on these, maybe like a commercial or a short, like a mini doc or something like that. But the old adage of don't mix on headphones, don't mix on headphones, mix on monitors, I think is probably going to hold true. But these are supposed to be good for mixing, so I will give them a try and see what they do. I'm just looking at the welds here, and the welds on this cup, or whatever coating they used, is a little bit. It might not show up. Let me just catch the light with it. You see this seam right here? That is something that it's such a tiny little detail, but that's something I'm not sure if that's a structural thing, if it's overspray from like a powder coating or what, but that's not super great. I mean, if you're spending this much for these, probably don't want to have that. Yeah, you can probably see it a little bit better there. Let's check this side. Yep, same deal there. It's like a little bit of overspray. It wasn't taped all the way, or they pulled the tape off. No, if they pulled the tape off wet, it should have left a nice crisp line. I don't know. It actually goes all the way through. I think it's a weld. I think it's a weld that, it's going to be hard to show you the backside, but it looks like maybe the metal got heated up too much where they welded it, and it traveled up the band. So that might be something that breaks. Like if you do this, when I was doing product dev, we would test things with all kinds of cool, like almost robots that the engineers built, and it would do like this 5,000 times, and you'd get X amount of failures in 5,000 times. So that's a big thing for headphones, is putting them on and taking them off your head. So that would be a structural failure point there, but maybe it's just cosmetic. I don't know. Let's see, other questions, comments, concerns. Aranish says, a little off topic, but Krotos is running a pretty massive sale right now. Yes, and it's a huge sale, and I'm kind of mad. I mean, I've got my money's worth out of their stuff, so it's paid for itself, but I bought like their whole, shebang bang deal they had, where it was like everything, and it was a lot of money. It was thousands of dollars, and it's like 85% off now, so that's a good thing. I've kind of gone over some of that stuff, weaponizer and dehumanizer and reformer, and they're good for very specific limited things. Weaponizer is great for weapons, but yeah. So OLLO Audio, I would say good job on these. Actually, great job on the design. The sound is very impressive. There's like the little bit of cosmetic thing that if you're paying full price for these, you might. It's just the type of thing that you'll look at every time you see it, and it's that little tweak in the back of your mind, like, really, man? Like that? You're going to have that on these expensive head? It almost looks like they glued it or something. It's really weird. But yeah, design is good. I like the design. The cables are great. The way they snap in really securely. Headband seems pretty strong, except for maybe the weld point right there. And they sound great. So I would say if you're in the market for a set of headphones and you have the premium amount of cash that these cost, then go for it. I really needed a set, and thank you OLLO Audio for hooking me up with a little bit of a discount, and I will put these to use. I'll probably wear out these ear cups in about 2 months, and then I'll get some more and keep on rocking with them. I might update you guys, after 6 months or a year, and see how they held up, because I go through headphones. I tear them up. They're a wear item for me at this point, and I just keep them for way too long. So thank you guys for tuning in. You can tune in again tomorrow. I'm doing 2 streams this week. I have a bunch of work to do, so but I want to make sure you guys, are getting the information you need from this channel, and especially channel members, who I super appreciate all your guys' support. And Neural Modus is low end compared to Sony 7506s. Man, Sony 7506s have no low end. They're flatter. They're flatter than flat. like flat. No, I shouldn't say that. They're not flatter than flat. They are. They have the amount of low end that a flat bottomed woman has, meaning that it's just nothing. Like there's nothing below like 100 hertz on 7506s. It's just completely gone. Like there's nothing there. So they're good for dialogue editing if you don't care about low end. But you want to hear the low end when you're dialogue editing. Otherwise, you're gonna miss boom thumps and all kinds of nasty stuff that happens in the low frequencies. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And then I have a bunch of work to do, like an insane amount of work to do. So that's probably going to be it for me for this week. But hey, you get 2 streams, 2 videos from me. Yeah, product review, which I almost never do. So take what you can get, and I will see you guys tomorrow.